Tonight on Country Squire Radio, we're doing a tobacco talk on Solani Silverflake and Fox the Bankers.
Plus, a pipe question on the right bowl size for the right kind of smoke.
Quick fire questions, your feedback, and more happening right now on Country Squire Radio. Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Bo.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Bo. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Freaking world traveler, dude. You've been all over the place.
I know, and you know what? I forgot to hit record.
Oh.
Taking two.
Bam.
Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Bo.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Bo. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you, sir. How you doing today?
Just loving it. Just loving it. Man, you've been all over the world, huh?
It's yeah. I just got done globe hopping.
You went to I was about to say to the continent, but you didn't go to the continent. You went to foggy London town.
Went to the motherland, my friend.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. How was it, dude?
It was it was amazing.
I saw a lot of pictures with Yorkist things behind you, and then some other pictures of disparaging some Lancastrian things behind you, and you had a little fun with that.
It was fun. I don't think I even took a picture of this, but there's a gate as part of the kind of the big park they have there, and it's a huge kind of a landmark called Lancaster Gate, and so there's a lot of hotels named after Lancaster.
Did you pee on it?
I did not urinate on Lancaster Gate. Did I want to? Should I have? Would it have been morally and ethically right for me to?
Maybe that particular Lancaster was a pretty stand-up guy.
Well, regardless, somebody did have next to the gate like a painted picture of a big red rose right there, and so they know what they were doing.
Hey, but is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay. For whatever reason, it's okay. Not traveling along, but it does appear to be okay.
Great.
Yeah. It's just being all tricksy on me.
Trixie habits. Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
The cool thing, though, man, I found this bar. Actually, it was this historic pub. My wife, while I was there, sent me a blog post with kind of a list of all these historic pubs in London, and this one particular pub that I just absolutely fell in love with was called the City of York.
Yeah.
And it was spelled in a very like British way, right? It had like one too many E's and there was like an S there for no reason.
Okay.
That kind of thing. And but the cool thing is it's this huge, like tall historic building that's like flanked on either side by these like very modern looking buildings. And it's got the big white rose of York.
Yeah.
And so you walk in and even
it's
like
beautiful.
On the like above the bar, there's these wooden barrels on top of these casks of beer.
Yeah.
And like just gorgeous beer. They actually in the back, they had this arch with the white rose of York. So I stood under it and took my picture. And I was like, man, I'm home. You
felt connected, didn't you?
It has my name on it.
Yeah.
They got like, exceptional beer. I had a flank or whatever you call it, like a husk of lamb. I don't know what the right phraseology is.
A husk of lamb. What did they say on Family Guy? It's like, I'd like a desk of Cheez-Its, a whole desk.
Entire desk. No, but this was like, it's a big chunk of lamb, man.
Pallets of cake or whatever.
It was gorgeous. But I got to tell you,
awesome, man.
After eating nothing but fish and chips, bangers and mash, and more pudding than I know what to do with.
Yeah, I don't even know what would you do with all that pudding?
I ate it, and now I've got to not eat anything for a long time, and I'm gonna get back to being healthy. Man.
Tell our folks that a lot of our friends that tune in regularly kind of know what's going on, but I've got to just kind of give you the opportunity to do this unashamedly. What tell us why again you were over there, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a I guess conference that occurs every year called New Media Europe.
Yeah.
That very heavily focused on podcasting, although they talk about blogs and content marketing as a whole. But I was actually asked to go and speak about podcasting. I was on a panel with some really great folks. They actually had a producer for The Guardian. They had a former producer for the BBC who's now a radio consultant, and myself. And
they had like someone from The Guardian and
right.
the BBC, and then hi y'all.
No, come on, man.
I do Country Squire Radio.
It was good.
Way down in Mississippi.
It was good.
You put your shoes on though, right?
I did put my shoes on.
Good. Okay.
I did not shave. I wish I had, but I had this like ridiculous beard growing. But no, it was a great discussion. Great folks there. It was great to see what the European podcasting market is like.
Yeah.
What's going on.
Yeah, cool.
Of course, talk about the Satchel Podcast Player, which was great to kind of discuss. We got a good number of podcasts actually registered with Satchel from the UK. So it was nice to get a chance to meet some of our users and find out how best we can improve the overall programming. So it was a lot of fun, man.
Well, good. I hope y'all had just a good time. Vacationing as well as doing all this work stuff.
Well, I gotta tell you, one of the things I love to do whenever I travel is go to the local tobacconist and try to capture some audio. Well, when I got there, I was a little nervous about trying to figure out the tube system or the subway system.
Yeah, the tube.
Yeah, and so I never
Did you see that sign that says "Mind the Gap"?
mind the gap.
Yeah, like don't watch your step. It's mind the gap.
Right. I think here we typically say, "Please stand clear of the doors."
Yeah,
But
I used to know that in Spanish as well.
Because they do that at Disney
Something
World.
Las Puertas, right?
They do that at Disney World. I remember that from the Epcot Center. But yeah, no. So it took me a while to figure it out, and by the time I did, and actually got out to the local tobacconist there, which is I believe it's called JJ Fox. Oh, I'm gonna butcher that. I know I am, but it's like one of the oldest tobacconists.
Well, it was
out
probably
there.
James Fox, right? Did you buy this there?
So that's the thing. I
Yeah.
went there and I picked up some tobacco.
Yeah,
and,
it's James Fox. Yeah.
They were so very welcoming. Unfortunately, I missed their pipe specialist, and so it sounded like he'd be a really cool guy to have on the show at some point. So we may have to try to figure out the time difference and maybe Skype
that'd be
him
a
in
lot
at
of
some
fun.
point. But I missed getting a chance to capture some audio, but I did capture some great pictures, posted those out to Facebook, and picked up some tobacco, which is going to play into the show a little bit later on. But first, before we jump into our topic, man, anything going on here that you want to share about?
Dude, it's just been an exciting few weeks. I mean, as we talked about last time I was on the show, I guess I bought the shop.
I was about to say, you bought the shop.
I bought the Country Squire.
It feels like Santa Claus came by because all the stockings are stuffed.
It does. All the little jars are full, and the sugar plums have danced in on my head multiple nights in a row. And yeah, man, it's been great. It's just nice to have a fully stocked store, and a lot of new things we're introducing here at the shop. We'll be coming out with some new tobacco blends, hopefully in the near future, but also rolling out a lot of new 10 tobaccos that we've never carried before, as well as several pipe brands. So, hey, man, it's not a good Country Squire radio episode unless Bo spills some liquid something. But I can honestly say though, at least this time it wasn't whiskey. It was brown water, but it was brown water, but it wasn't
when you
whiskey.
offered whiskey. I knew I was
Right.
going to spill it.
See that, and that's why.
I was going to spill it. Oh my
It's
goodness.
fantastic.
You got to get back in the saddle.
No, yeah, that's you did just right. I feel right at home. Yeah, but it's been fun just to see the excitement of our local pipe community. I feel so validated and affirmed of our little shop. Just kind of a lot of new energy coming into it, and to be honest, it's been a big honor. So yeah, things are good here, man.
Well, I got to know, man. While I was gone, y'all had the big Father's Day event.
We did. We partnered with our friends at Fourth Generation Pipes and Kamoy Pipes and did Father's Friends and Fire at the Country Squire, and it was great. We had probably 40 people show out for the event, so big turnout.
Oh, great.
It's always surprising these reps come to town to put on these events, and they're always like, man, Mississippi generally isn't even covered normally by a lot of these big companies and their sales reps. They're like, well, who's going to go, who picks the short straw to go down there kind of thing. And so they come to this little shop and they're like, man, this little shop, they order so many pipes, but it's in the middle of nowhere. And like, how on earth could they sustain this? And then they come out and then we have all these pipe smokers that just show up and smoke all their product. And it's always just really neat to see folks come out in a place like this. But yeah, we had a great turnout, sold just a ton of Kamoy pipes and Fourth Gen pipes, and was really happy to see all the energy around that. So I got to smoke tobaccos from them that I guess I'd never had before. And, particularly the Cask 11 from Kamoy was just a huge hit.
Really?
We had a lot of folks, ask for that one. I think that was their English one. There was also a Portwood, which was I believe of Virginia, that had been lightly topped with maybe some port wine, which was kind of interesting. And a spiced Virginia too, which was kind of a clean, aromatic, Virginia-like blend, but with some kind of cinnamon topping or something like that on it that made it real pleasant. But
Man,
yeah,
that's awesome.
just had a ton of really good tobaccos out, and we sold. Sold almost everything we had. So it was great. Good turnout. And, if you ever are close by a tobacconist that's doing an event like that, particularly if they've got a rep come in and have a lot of free, samples to give out and that kind of thing, please take them up on that.
Well, that's awesome, man. Yep. Great that everybody got a chance to experience those great products from Kamoy and, of course, Fourth Generation. And all the better because, of course, Fourth Generation,
oddly enough,
sponsor for this program.
That's right.
We actually like to feature different pipes and tobaccos from our sponsors. And, man, we got a great pipe and tobacco from Fourth Generation to talk about tonight.
Yeah, the Fourth Generation 1855 Eric Peters blend is actually what brings our show to you tonight. It's a ready rubbed blend of exceptionally mature Virginia tobaccos with characteristics of natural sweet Virginia taste and pleasant aroma. And of course, it's available in a 40 gram and 100 gram tin. So, just
1855.
1855.
It was a very good year.
What
I was gonna break out the song.
it was a very good year. Something
good year.
Something important in the Stokeby family happened that year.
At 1855.
Yeah.
Now that's the beautiful thing about these fourth generation tobaccos, man. They speak to the history of this family that has been just so. Your word is prolific.
Yeah.
Prolific in the pipe
and
tobacco
ubiquitous.
World. Ubiquitous as well, yeah. Now you would like to say prolific. That's a JDism right there.
So is slap your mama, and what are some of those other things people make fun of me for saying? That dog will hunt.
That dog will hunt
thing.
Yeah. That's another JDism. But yeah, so 1855. Not only is there a wonderful tobacco, but also a pipe inspired.
A beautiful pipe to go with it as well. Yeah, the 1855 fourth generation pipe is a bent billiard or maybe a large egg, you might call it, but. Certainly a traditionally shaped pipe in the Danish style with kind of a flare like that. Got a beautiful copper-colored band on that pipe with an acrylic mouthpiece. It has just the right amount of curvature. And this pipe, think of just a real solid, sturdy billiard with a thick rim and a deep bowl. So good for kind of that all-night porch sitting evening, maybe with a choice beverage. And of course, you have a dark porter finish, which is the signature sandblast that they have, as well as a mature orange finish, a natural vintage natural finish, and the burnt sienna finish. I have to be honest, we had a ton of these pipes here for the Fathers, Friends, and Fire event last week.
Yeah.
And that all the finishes obviously are very attractive, but man, if you're just a grain sucker, like a sucker for just beautiful grain, like that vintage natural finish, it is outstanding.
Really
I think they just
forth the grain.
It does. They pick some really just really high end pieces of wood to make those pipes out, particularly the ones that they use for that grain, and just very, very stunning. But even the sandblasted pipes are just extremely well done. So 1855 is a big hit, and we hope you check it out.
Man, fourth generation, just a quality brand. I mean, if you're rocking a fourth gen pipe, that means you're rocking a pipe with quality, and it really, I think, sends a message to those around you that you know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Man.
You didn't just pick up a pipe out of the basketball. You got something of quality that really has a style all its own. So y'all check it out.
Right.
Fourth Gen. Again, thanks to Eric Stokeby and the good folks at fourthgenerationtobacco.com for sponsoring the show. All right, man, we've got a tobacco talk tonight, which means that
this
we
is fun.
take two different tobaccos and actually review them here on the podcast. Now, generally speaking, we sometimes do a 10 and kind of a not 10.
Mm-hmm.
Loose leaf, how do you define a not 10?
I just say one of our house blends.
Yeah, one of the house blends.
Yeah.
We're mixing up just a little bit tonight. I actually, I mentioned I was in London, of course. We've talked about that. And I stopped by the tobacconist, and actually Pappy Joe's good at holding us accountable. He's correcting me. It's James J. Fox. And it's Bankers. The Bankers is actually what I picked up here.
The Bankers, right?
The Bankers, Fox blend. And so, I stopped into this tobacco shop. Beautiful experience. They got a wonderful shop. But man, this is my first time picking up some tobacco from outside of the country. And of course, regulations are different no matter where you are in the country in terms of how you can actually present and market your tobacco. And man, I got to tell you, over in the UK, they are struggling over there.
It's kind of depressing, dude.
They've got on this 10.
What's interesting? Let me just real quickly tell our listeners that aren't viewing, but Bo actually brought this tin of Fox the Bankers tobacco back from England. And then I actually have an American version of this exact same tin.
Right.
And so we get to kind of compare them side to side. Bo, why don't you describe the one you've got?
Yeah.
That looks like it came out of The Shining or something.
Right. Well, I mean, you look at the top of it, and of course you got the signature Fox logo, the Bankers right underneath it, pipe tobacco mix, London on the left, Dublin on the right. And then as you kind of go down, you've got this big, massive messaging with the exact same size, if not larger than the actual brand on it. It says smoking seriously harms you and others around you, period. And on the back side, you've got a lovely photo of the innards of someone who I guess has not been smoking on the left is what they're implying. And on the right, this is obviously somebody who's been very unhealthy in their smoking practices.
Yeah. I think I mean, those are lungs, right? We're
the-
looking at pictures of lungs.
They're either lungs or like a slow roasted pot roast.
Yeah.
In barbecue sauce.
Awful.
I got to tell you, man, it's funny because I brought this home, and
Yeah.
of course my wife sees it, and she's kind of like laughing at it when she saw it. I said, yeah, it's.
Can y'all see that?
I feel like there needs to be, look, if you're going to do this kind of marketing, then I feel like, turnaround is fair play. Should not also, on your bacon containers, it say, bacon can kill you. And then also have a picture of like the inside of your intestines all clogged up and
Yeah,
stuff.
no
cholesterol.
Man, but
Krispy Kreme should definitely have Krispy Kreme kills on every single box.
I
of
agree.
Krispy Kreme
Yeah,
donuts.
because it is, but it's totally worth it.
Well, well, therein lies the argument. I'm just saying that this it seems interesting, if not completely odd and somewhat disgusting, that these are kind of the regulations that they got over there, man.
And of course, I think a lot of countries are moving in this direction, though, Bo. We've got obviously, I don't think whoever's lungs these are on the back of this was probably enjoying. What do they cost? How much did you pay for this tin over there? Like what, 40 quid or something?
So that sounds about. No, I don't think it was that much. I can't remember exactly what the breakdown is because of the exchange rates.
Yeah,
and
it was more than $30 though.
Yeah,
I mean, it was more than $30 US.
That sounds about.
I guarantee you for that tin, it was more than that.
Because basically what it is, you the price and then you double it, but then you cut it in half. I can't remember.
Yeah, but anyway, this is I don't think the lungs featured on the back of this, or the barbecue chicken as you refer to it.
Right.
I don't think that was caused by the bankers from James Fox Tobaccos. But it's funny. The tin I have, most of the Fox tobaccos in America, actually both the tobaccos we're talking about tonight, are imported by our good friend Steve Monjour with Monjour International. Really, just a great guy. He's one of those people in the industry that when you get to know him, you just want to order everything from him because he's just such a good person.
Oh, man,
but
that's awesome.
Steve is great, and of course he on this side of the pond has the opportunity to put this large gold sticker on top of all that just says fine pipe tobacco, and so we appreciate that very much.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's not the topic for tonight, but
Yeah.
I hated it for the tobacconist over there, because I mean they've got this beautiful quality store. Just there's a country charm to the Country Squire, as the name would imply.
Yeah.
This had more of a. Don't take this the wrong way. This had more of like a classy type.
It's more upscale, Saks Fifth Avenue kind of thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
And so to have that, and then to also have that on the products, it just.
Yeah.
I don't know. It frustrated me.
Yeah.
And like I said,
It's unsettling.
I think that turnaround's fair play. If that's going to be your regulations on one product, it should be your regulations across the board. Of course, I bashed the cigarette companies for using similar practices several episodes ago, so I got a double standard, and I'm fine with that. Let's talk about the tobacco.
Let's talk about the tobacco, man. Well, this is great. I'm so glad. This is really funny and timely that you brought this one back. And when Bo and I were preparing for this episode, I was excited. He was like, "I'm bringing some tobacco back," and he was like, but maybe we can use it for the tobacco talk. And I was like, what are you bringing back? And he sent me this photo, and it's tobacco that we'd actually just gotten in the shop recently. And so I was really excited. Now, it's funny tonight, Bo. I'm actually smoking and enjoying this blend. And what's odd about that is that this blend features a good portion of Latakia.
Yeah.
And as our listeners know, if they're longtime listeners, I'm not a Latakia smoker. I've tried it multiple times, and occasionally I like a bowl for this and that. But man, I'm a solidly Virginia Perique guy. I like Burley. Occasionally an aromatic thrown in there about as often as I like an English blend or something like that. Scottish style mixtures, I'm okay with Latakia being used as a condiment leaf, but heavy Latakia blends I'm just generally not a fan of. But the Bankers is just hitting something with me that I don't know, it's kind of challenging my thought process on this a little bit.
Well, it's interesting because I walked into this tobacconist, and Fox actually has another blend called the Squire.
Yeah, which I know, right? We actually, Pappy Joe tweeted in. He said that's a really good blend, and obviously we need to pick that up here at the Squire.
I almost got that. It was not cheap, I mean, good quality tobacco rarely is cheap, but I mean, it wasn't cheap, and so I knew I was only going to walk away with 110.
Yeah.
That was obviously going to be the choice, except I kind of smelled it. I was like, okay, this is very aromatic.
Yeah.
And then this had a kick to it that I was really interested in, and then he told me that it actually contains some Cuban cigars, actually kind of
Now, in this particular blend,
in this
right?
particular
That's
blend,
right.
in the bankers.
That's right. So what's wonderful about this? And well, first let's talk about Fox a little bit.
Yeah.
This old fashioned tobacconist, real old school. I don't. Did you get a sense of that as walking into the shop in London over there? Of course, they're in Dublin as well, and they've been around for a very long time. These tins used to be tinned. My understanding is in Dublin, but they're now tinned by Planta in Germany. Which is the case in a lot of these kind of smaller boutique tins now. A lot of these have moved over to either German or Danish production.
Interesting.
So on and so forth. But anyway, the blend has changed some over the years. But you're right; it's got a nice dose of Latakia, but you've also got focus on Virginias, and the highlight, of course, is the Havana leaf, which just kind of gives it a really nice cigar flavor. And what's interesting is most cigar tobaccos that I smoke, cigar pipe tobaccos that I smoke that feature cigar leaf, they're okay. They're generally pretty rough, real robust, super. In your face when you think cigar. For those that know a little bit about cigars, you might be thinking of these, real. Heavily spiced, cigars, maybe have a double Lajero, all this kind of stuff in it, just real pepper bombs and all this kind of stuff. A lot of times when I'm smoking cigar leaf pipe tobaccos, I get that. But with the Bankers from James Fox, I'm really thinking of more of just a real nice medium bodied, maybe a Cameroon wrapper or something. I think of like a Arturo Fuente Hemingway or something. It's just got a real nice, mellow, medium body to it, with just enough of the Latakia kind of bringing up the background to make it just a super pleasant smoke, man. I don't know. I'm very fond of it. So it's one of those two. And matter of fact, we'll open this can up.
Yeah, crack it open.
And of course, this can looks a little disheveled because yours truly has been enjoying it. But the Bankers, you can see it's got just that variety of Virginias and probably a little burley in there, and some Latakia, but the cigar leaf I think really stands out, and that's probably most of that kind of deeper brown in there. But why don't you give that a whiff? Have you had a chance to smoke it yet, Bo?
I have not.
I know you just touched down.
Yeah, because I just got back.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm going to transition this to a jar, but I wanted to bring it in for
show
and tell purposes. But that flavor really does kick you. And what really got my attention, not just the way that the tin note, but also, the fact that we've had a lot of people write into the show and asking about, hey, I've got a friend who's really into cigars and wants to get into pipes. What pipe tobacco should I recommend?
Yeah.
And it's always been kind of difficult pairing them. But this is clearly, almost made with a cigar smoker in mind.
Golly,
right?
No doubt about it. I don't know if that was their intent, initially with this. Of course, this, particular blend has been on the market, I'm sure, for some time. But wow, that would be an incredible entree into the pipe world for someone that likes a medium to full-bodied cigar and also enjoys nuanced flavors, but would still enjoy the experience of a pipe and even the more nuanced flavors I think of the pipe, because obviously as you smoke this bowl through each and every puff, you're going to get more and more distinction with just as those leaves and sugars bake in that chamber.
Yeah.
Man, I was real pleased with it, and I highly encourage you to take it out of that and probably put it into a mason jar or something like that to kind of protect it.
All right. So do y'all sell this here, or how did you?
I actually just have a sample of it right now, but we will carry it in short order at the Country Squire. And if you are in the area, you're welcome to swing by and grab a sample of it. So we've got plenty for that. Yep.
Sounds good.
Really tasty. Yep. Odd for me to find a Latakia mixture that I don't know, just pushes my button.
Well, not all Latakias are equal.
Well, they're not, and obviously, again, I think the highlight here is not the Latakia, it's the cigar leaf. But with my experience of this, it's got more Latakia than probably I'm typically interested in, and still it's just very pleasing to me. So, all right, moving along, we've got a really large, very expensive, and yet exquisitely delicious tin. This is Solani Silver Flake, and this is their 100-gram tin, blend 660. On the top, it says ripe red Virginia and spicy dark-fired Kentucky. So again, this is another tobacco that is made in Germany, and it's interesting. You think with Solani, it sounds more Italian or something like that. I believe the Solani it comes from a Latin phrase, and I can't remember exactly what that means. But Solani is the brainchild of a German tobacco manufacturer. They wanted to come up with a series of tobaccos that were all very high end, extremely mature, complex in flavor, no topping, no casing, additives or any of that kind of stuff. Just real sophisticated tobacco. And so the Solani series is obviously what they've come out with in that. And so some of the the real popular ones, I'm sure, regular pipe smokers may have heard of, are, the aged burley flake, the Solani gold label that's, it's 663. It's got the perique in it. God, that stuff's like a pepper bomb. It's amazing. They've got several, but the silver, it comes in this really handsome, large silver tin, and I'll open it. What's interesting about this, of course, it's a flake tobacco, but
it comes like that.
It comes like this. So you open this tin, and this is something we'll talk about, but it's in a
it's like shrink wrap.
It's in a cellophane bag, and so and I'm gonna take this out of here, Bo, so you can see it. But if you're listening, imagine like a huge thin flake that's really long, like maybe I don't know, 8 inches long, that's been folded on top of itself.
Oh wow, that's all one piece.
Yeah, you see that? That's like one piece. It's like a foot long.
Wow.
And then folded into, I don't know, I guess folded twice so it can fit into this cellophane bag. But
you know what you remember shredded wheat? Like when it used to be, I mean, like you get the mini wheats now, but like that. Yeah. Imagine a mini wheat, but it's like a massive size,
but like the big one.
Yeah, and you just put one of those huge things in your bowl.
And you
kind of mess it up while you're.
Yeah, that makes me oddly hungry.
This kind of reminds me of that.
It kind of does. It's just a really large flake. It's just a really large flake, and so what they've done here is they've put the dark fired with the sweet Virginias and created a blend that I think is peppery, but the dark fired I think kind of takes the forefront here. So think our friends at Orlick Golden Slice and Orlick Tobaccos, they've got the dark strong Kentucky. Think kind of in that realm, except I think a good bit less smokier. So real nice and mellow. It's got just some of that pepper that kind of brings up the background. I think the interesting thing about this tobacco is how it's packaged. And what's fascinating is that this is not a vacuum sealed or a sealed tin at all. Even brand new, this sin is tealed. Can you believe this sin is not tealed?
That's why you need Tobacco Jesus to teal your sin for you.
To teal your sin for you. This tin is not sealed, and so you've got a tobacco that's in this cellophane bag, and then it's inside the tin. But that's it. The only thing holding it all in there are a couple of stickers and a little label that kind of holds it together. But
so this is not meant to have a long shelf life.
It's not. And if you get this tobacco, you need to immediately take it out and put it in some type of jar. I'm just convinced of that. We had a real good friend that went to another tobacconist recently and was just kind of going through some of their older tins and found one of these Sam Gaywith tins from a few years ago that is similar. It was one of their, I forget the name of it, their special edition tin from a couple of years ago, but it was packaged similarly to this. And he was so excited because he was getting this tin. It was real special edition thing, but he opened it and it was like, just powder because it just kind of been sitting out like that. So
that sounds like a Henshaw story.
Yeah. And it was, and it was, but yeah, it's one of those, things. If you get this tobacco, I really encourage you to immediately take it out of the tin and put it in a jar. Man. I really do. But, especially, for the amount that you're going to spend on this tobacco.
Or like put it in the jar.
No, I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I'd probably just put it in its full folded form. I tend to not like to break apart any type of flake tobacco, until I'm ready to smoke it. Yeah, that just gives the leaves a chance to continue to marry. Mm-hmm. And to me, loading the pipe from the flake, just rubbing the flake apart and tearing the pieces apart, watching it light. Piece by piece, that's kind of a part of the fun for me.
It's such an interesting thing because, of course, when you see the tin itself, I mean, it's such a beautiful. There's a specialness to it.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Like it seems like you are getting something that's very premium. It seems like this is something special. It almost reminds me of like a case for like a really high end watch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that kind of tin to it. And then you open it up, and then you got this the plastic wrap, which seems just kind of an odd pairing. And then to find out that it's not fully sealed, it's interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting combination. When I saw this, I kind of had a hunch that that's how this particular tin was packaged.
Right.
But I regardless of the packaging, I highly recommend this tobacco. It's one of those that, again, on the 100-gram tin, you're going to spend a little more at the Squire. This tin will cost you about $30. You may be able to find it a little cheaper elsewhere, but excellent tobacco. It's just got a real nuanced flavor. I think a sophisticated use of the dark fired burley that just gives it enough of the smokiness to make itself present, but not overwhelming. So I think for Virginia fans and folks that like just real natural grassy flavored tobaccos, I think you'll enjoy this. But if you're wary of the dark fired Kentucky leaf, then I think this would be a good one for you, just as something to kind of round out your palate some.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Great tobacco. Really have enjoyed smoking it. So,
excellent selection.
Yeah. It's amazing. Me, of all people, tonight, as I was getting ready for the show, chose to smoke the Bankers rather than this beautiful Virginia and aged burley flake here.
Yeah. Well, you got to mix it up from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, so it goes.
And that's the thing, man. Especially you being a tobacconist and someone that people go to in terms of recommendations. You can't just smoke what you like. You have to kind of keep yourself fresh and be open to the possibility that a lot of Kia might come along.
Yeah, but I can just smoke what I like.
Well, yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. There is an element of having to, try it all and be open-minded to it all, and also not trying to force my own tastes on other folks, which I'm obviously a big proponent of. Y'all have heard me say over and over, just, how much it grates on me when people try to force all pipe smokers to go down one path. Man, forget that. Yeah. I want people to smoke what they enjoy. So, but anyway, a couple of great things here brought to us tonight. We've got the Bankers from James Fox, and of course Solani Silver Flake.
Man, it's good
stuff.
Of course, the beautiful thing is as you smoke a tobacco and it becomes your favorite, you can really cake in a bowl and make it the right pipe for the right blend. But when you're trying new tobaccos, it's good to have something that you can use to test out a lot of different things. In fact, we mention it all the time. It's important to have a pipe in your collection specifically for that reason.
That's right.
We recommend a corn cob, and when we recommend corn cobs, we're recommending Missouri Meerschaum.
Missouri Meerschaum, of course.
Man, we got 2 pipes from Missouri Meerschaum sponsoring this episode. We got the Pony Express.
That's right.
Which I love.
I just love the name.
Yeah. And then we got the Pony Express and the Mizzou, like Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
Pony Express, man. Both of these pipes, by the way, have a very similar bowl, kind of a long style bowl.
Yeah, kind of almost a taller chamber, right?
Yeah,
You've got kind of an elongated stack there. Yeah.
The big differentiator is actually the stem and shank here.
Yeah. Now, the Mizzou has a longer stem that tends to be bent at the end. And, of course, you're looking at the yellow acrylic plastic there. That
love the yellow with
it kind of gives it a real nice touch, I think, to round out the color frame there. So really good. The Mizzou, I don't know if this was actually officially named after it, but, of course, the University of Missouri of course, is referred to colloquially as Mizzou. And so I don't know if there's a connection there or not, but if there is, go Tigers. Yeah.
And then the Pony Express, it's got kind of that longer shank to it.
Yeah.
What do you call that? When it's
I would actually call that a Lavat, because the longer shank paired with the shorter saddle bit stem. Typically, I see that referred to as a Lavat. If we talked about a longer oval shank with a tapered stem, we'd be probably talking about a Canadian. Do these things apply to the corncob world? Yeah, tonight, of course they do. Yeah.
Well, I love it, man. The Pony Express, in particular, you can almost imagine the guy, the conductor standing on the side of the train, smoking his pipe while getting everybody on the train before it takes off and everything. All aboard, Pony Express. Here we go.
Just be watching out for the robbers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To come get the banker.
Wild West style.
Yeah.
It was a train robbery to get the banker.
Right. From the what? It's like, never mind. Go ahead. I'm just glad you don't have any more any more stuff to spill.
Oh man. Well, hey, great pipes from the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum. Check them out if you've got either a Pony Express or a Mizzou. Be sure to take a picture of yourself smoking it this week. We'll retweet that out on Twitter.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Missouri Meerschaum for supporting this show, and we thank you guys for supporting them. All right, man. Pipe question of the week.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Okay, man. This actually comes in from Tony Cullum. You think I pronounced that last name right?
Yeah, I think so. Tony Cullum?
Yep. Tony Cullum, who says, are there specific shapes of pipes that work best for different types of blends or cuts? Now, this is actually a really good question because it's one that's been asked about 3 or 4 different ways, both on Facebook, Twitter, and emails and such. This is one that keeps on coming up.
Yeah. One of those questions, excuse me, one of those questions too that of course is going to have a variety of answers depending on who you're talking to, but obviously I think the number one thing to think about is bowl size in comparison to nicotine tolerance. So if you're smoking a really strong blend, you may just want to put it in a smaller bowl and not smoke as much of it. But aside from that obvious point, I tend to see that a tall cylindrical shaped bowl seems to work for some reason really well for Virginia tobaccos. And I think the reason for that, just in my own experience, and also for flake tobaccos as well. But I think the reason for that is because the bowl, and this is just me conjecturing, because I was a physics major in college, I definitely was not. The bowl has less, for a taller, more narrow bowl, it's got kind of less surface area exposed to the outside world. And so it tends to be a little easier to keep lit if you've got a taller bowl like that. And with Virginias, the key with Virginias is not smoking a tobacco too fast, because those natural sugars will just bite the crud out of you. You know what I mean? So it's very important to keep Virginias kind of nurse them along and kind of puff them at a cadence that allows you to just let them do their own thing without having to overwork them.
Would a Virginia go better than with like a church warden?
It might, yeah.
So it's a longer stem.
It might just, the longer stem kind of gives it the ability to cool off, but it's not just the heat though. It's the actual, sugar in there too. It's something about having to smoke it slowly is real important. But I do think you're right that would probably help as well. The smaller opening in a bowl though, for some reason seems to help Virginia tobaccos for me, and also just a tall bowl. It kind of develops the complexity as that heat kind of barrows, down within the, the belly of that bowl. So I like that. I tend, for some reason, to smoke English blends in a large, kind of wider bowl. They tend to smoke a little cooler for me, and then I can also tend to keep them lit a little easier and kind of puff more liberally. Those are really my only two things when it comes to bowl shapes, though. I know there's a lot of theories out there about do you go with a conical bowl versus a real cylindrical bowl, that drill bits and all those kinds of things. I really don't have a lot of opinions on those, to be honest with you, but I have noticed for Virginia tobaccos and flake tobaccos as well, that I think a tall cylindrical, kind of narrow bowl really does help with that. Flake tobaccos are fun to smoke out of a bowl like that, because you can see with each puff, particularly right after you lit the bowl, you can see with each puff kind of each new little piece of flake catching fire and expanding, and it expands as it catches fire. And so what you'll see is, right after your first few puffs, these leaves are almost trying to escape the bowl, kind of climbing over the edge. It's really really a lot of fun to watch. It's real magic. Man, I'm a nerd. Golly.
I wonder. I'm about to up it. I wonder if Aragorn was smoking some flake tobacco in the first Lord of the Rings movie. Because remember, he's like sitting in this like dark of the of the pub or the bar, and like the hobbits look over, and like he's only lit up by his like the sparks coming from his pipe. You remember this?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't know.
There you go. Great question.
Yeah, really good question. I wish I had more kind of knowledge to share on that, to be honest with you. But for me, I think the large or taller, narrow bowl is key, particularly just for those Virginia tobaccos that I enjoy, and also flake tobaccos. But if our listeners have any, we'd love to get those in. Feel free to tweet us at Squire Radio to share some of that with the rest of the world.
Yeah, let us know what your favorite pairings up of bowl size and types of tobacco,
bowl shape, and all that.
Yep. Love it. Quick fire questions.
Bring them, son.
All right, so these are actually from me this week.
Oh, okay.
In my trying to get reacclimated back here to the States after my going and getting in touch with my roots, I decided to go a London versus US quick fire questions. You ready for this?
Yeah. Okay. Go.
Fish and chips or chicken fingers and fries?
Man, I'm sorry, but bring on the Zaxby's, or Cane's or what? I mean, chicken fingers and fries, man. That's it.
The first time I ever had fish and chips was actually at a local pub that we have here.
Was it Finian's?
Finian's.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I
had a pint at Finian's just the other night. Matter of fact, listening to Country Squire Radio watcher and listener play guitar live.
Oh, that's awesome.
That night. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
But anyway, go ahead.
Well, so this is actually I got it there, and I got the fish and chips, and then I forgot that I ordered fish and chips, and I thought that it was just chicken tenders and fries.
Whoops.
And so when I first took a bite of the fish,
it didn't taste like chicken.
Oh man, and it ruined the experience for me. And so it was not until many years later where I find myself in the city of my ancestors, where I sit down with fish and chips,
right,
knowing full well what it is.
Right.
And
then it was chicken.
And it was the chicken of the sea. No, it was delicious, man. It was absolutely delicious. And they serve it with like these mashed peas.
Yeah, that's right.
But I gotta say, man, yeah, chicken fingers are way better.
Hey, we're in the South.
If we're being honest,
give me a fried chicken tender anytime.
All right. Warm/room temperature beer or ice cold beer?
Okay, man, gosh, don't make me pick.
It kind of does depend on
the beer. It depends on the time of year too. In the South, obviously in Mississippi, we, it feels right now in the shop like a swamp, right, Bo?
Right.
So could you imagine drinking just a nice warm lager here, just served from the back of the shop, just having sat there at room temperature? Like, no, I want a really crisp cold beer.
Yeah.
But there is that time kind of in the autumn or winter time where you do want more of a room temperature beer. I don't know. On average, I probably would like just something real crisp and cold, real frosty.
Yeah,
on average.
That's good. I mean, because you're exactly right. It's difficult to choose warm beer with just destructingly hot as it is right now.
It's amazing we can live here.
It really is. It really
It's a miracle where technology allows people to live nowadays.
But if I had to choose between a cold beer and the heat, or a warm/room temperature beer and the kind of cool, I would go for that every time. So I'll go with the warm, quote unquote warm beer, because it's not warm, it's just room temperature.
No, it's just more room temp.
All right, bangers and mash or a sausage dog?
What's a bangers and mash?
Oh my gosh,
I probably should know.
So bangers and mash, it's sausage. It's what they call ring sausage, but we just would call it link sausage.
Okay, yeah.
But like brats type of sausage, not like breakfast or anything.
Right. Okay. Right.
And it's cooked. It's like char cooked, and then served over mashed potatoes with this gravy. This like.
Yeah, I've never had that, but I'm gonna have to go with that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I as much as I would like a sausage dog right about now, just sign me up for that.
Oh, it's so fun.
I'm on the bangers and mash train,
it's
as
good.
it were.
I'm gonna go there as well. And then finally, pub or bar, and let me explain the difference here.
Yeah, do that.
So far as I can understand it. So pub and
are these technical, or are these like Bo conjecture?
This is more of my. This is my analysis based on experience.
Well, go ahead.
And some explanation in terms of people that have traveled both in and out of the UK.
Okay.
So the pub experience is you go to the pub and you buy your beer and food at the bar, and they bring it to you, but you have to pay for it all in the bar. You pay for everything up front. Like you don't open a tab, you just pay for it as you go.
This is a pub.
This is at a pub.
Okay.
And even if you want some food and that sort of thing, they don't have like a wait staff that comes in and checks on you, everything. You just buy it, you sit down, they bring it to you. You have to tell them, at the bar what table you're sitting at. They just bring it to you. At that point, you've already paid for it. So
okay.
At a bar, they've got, you can open up a tab, you can sit down at the table. They've got, the wait staff will come and check on you and give everything that you need whenever you need it, that sort of thing, assuming they're paying attention to you.
Okay. If that is the definition, then I prefer a bar. But the feel, when I think of pub, right, I think of the Country Squire versus Macy's. Okay, like the Country Squire being like the warm, cozy, disheveled pub. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. There's something about pub that just kind of screams like cozy and
classic,
intimate. They serve beer in tall pint glasses and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know. And when I think of that, I think of pub. When I think of bar, I think of a bunch of drunk college kids and loud music.
Yeah. A bar, you kind of evokes imagery or the sounds of loud music. Pub is more of conversation, jovial type experience.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I think I think that's probably fair. I definitely, that's the visualization that comes to me.
Yeah.
although for me, either way, man, I tend to enjoy the pub style. I mean, yeah, obviously
Yeah.
the conversation over the loud music I'm all about. In terms of the pay system, though,
Right.
it drove me crazy the first 2 nights I was in town, but then I really learned to appreciate it because you didn't have to like wait for the waiter to come and check on you and stuff. It's just like, no, handle your business. It
Yeah.
was all right.
No, that's good. I'm very needy though, so I like people to come wait on me hand and feet. Right. It's very important for folks to come around and offer to refresh my drink and that type of thing. But
Yeah.
but that's just because of my codependency.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do.
Hey, we got a tweet in from Russell. He's at the Lavender Goat on Twitter, and he says, "I feel the same way about bowl shapes and the tobacco I use. I tend to use wide bowls or conical shaped bowls for English blends." So
That's good.
Just his feedback there.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, actually, let's. That's great quick fire questions.
Good. Yeah, that was great.
Big thanks to myself for coming up with those. But
Man,
hey,
whoever that guy was, he did a fantastic job. Several misspellings, but a really good.
Yeah,
job.
well, that's how I roll.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, y'all send in some quick fire questions too. Is csr@podastery.com. Man, we got some great listener feedback, but last but not least, we do need to, let me try that again. We got some great listener feedback, but first we want to mention our final sponsor for this podcast. You know them, we love them. We're talking about thispipelife.com.
This Pipe Life. That's right. Yeah. Our friends at thispipelife.com, of course, what they've done is really gotten aggressively behind integrating social media and modern design with a online pipe community experience, as it were. So just to integrate our pipe community, think of not your grandfather's pipe community, but kind of a new, fun, interactive way to enjoy the pipe world and pipe culture. And also to give you the opportunity to plug in social media and pictures and all kinds of Instagram and tweets and things that our generation I think is really fond of, and to connect to other pipe smokers.
Yeah.
So it's a great website. We hope you get on there and enjoy it and become active in it. Be sure to register. Registration is free, and it's a lot of fun.
Yep, absolutely. Thispipelife.com is the place to go for it. All right. First listener feedback coming in. This is actually an iTunes review. You want to take that one?
Yeah. This is from, let's see here.
Croatoan 81.
This is from Croatone 81. He's on iTunes and he says, favorite podcast. I subscribe to a handful of podcasts, and this is by far my favorite. The content and production are both excellent, but the banter between these two good friends is what truly sets this one apart from all the others. Yeah, we do have fun with our banter, don't we? Bo and John David are always entertaining, genuine, and positive. I needed to hear that. Am I positive, man?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You are on the show.
Okay, on the show. Right. Yeah, he's a real jerk when you meet him in person.
Not a jerk.
Right.
Come on.
No, I'm kidding.
That's not
I'm
the
kidding.
one-to-one.
Right. Yeah, you'd say something else, but we're on air and this is family friendly. No, he goes on to say, they've become a great addition to my weekly routine and a reminder that our pipe smoking hobby is in great hands now and going forward. I was thrilled to hear that John David recently became the owner of the Country Squire. Thank you very much. A gentleman I've never met and a shop I've not had the chance to visit. That is a statement to how much I've enjoyed listening to this podcast. Can't say enough about how great the show is. Keep up the great work, guys. Me and Croatone, thank you so much for the kind words, and we appreciate the well wishes too.
Absolutely. You actually got some more well wishes from Tampa Pipe Smoker, who right in and said, congrats on the new ownership. Any plans to expand selling tins online? I looked, and unless I missed it, I didn't see anything.
I know, right? Yeah, we're hoping to do that down the road. It's not an immediate thing, but we've got a larger selection now of tins, and I would like to get more of those online. So not within the next few weeks or anything like that, but our goal within the next year is to get much more of our inventory online. That would include our pipe stuff and our tin tobaccos as well. So look for that to evolve. Right now our website is really centered on our house blends, which if you're watching live, you can see behind us here, and we're very proud of those. We work really hard for that. I was talking with a dear friend of mine in the industry this weekend about just a couple of other tobacconists in the country and what their breakdown of tobaccos versus cigars is and all this kind of thing. And man, it's just rare that a shop like ours does so large a percent of its business in hand blended tobacco. And even today in the pipe world, it's just not a very common thing. So we're very proud of that. Our website currently is very centered on that, but look for that to diversify some, just to obviously give you some more opportunity there to buy other cool goodies on thecountrysquireonline.com.
That's good, man. Yeah. And finally, we got a tweet in during the live show tonight from Ryan Odin, or Odin Ryan, at Odin Ryan on Twitter. Says, love your show. Watch every week. Really missed you guys last week. I'm glad you guys are back. Well, hey, Odin, we appreciate that. Hey, be sure actually to check out the podcast feed, though. I know several of y'all who tune in exclusively for the YouTube channel may have missed it. Last week, we had an excellent interview. And so we want to encourage you to go check that one out. It was actually with jdsmokingpipes.com.
Yeah.
Really, really great discussion.
Jim's
there.
a great guy.
So, so wonderful interview. Even if you do maintain that the YouTube is your preferential way to engage with the show, we still encourage you to check out the podcast. You can find links to the podcast at countrysquireradio.com. You can, of course, tune in for the live show, though. Say you're a podcast listener, but you want to be part of the live show one night. You should join us. We are live every Monday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. You can also follow us throughout the week. You can follow me at The Real Bo York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
And of course, the show's Twitter handle is at Squire Radio, and all that information and more can be found at countrysquireradio.com.
Dude, this was fun. I had a great time tonight. I feel really good getting behind the saddle with you. We had some awesome tobaccos that came out. That I love the energy that's come out of the last few weeks here. There's a lot going on in the pipe community right now, even some news we didn't discuss, we might talk about in future episodes. But there's just so much good going on right now, and I feel very positive, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, good, man. I'm glad. Me as well. It was beautiful being in London. It was a great experience and everything, but it's rough traveling by myself.
Yeah.
And actually, as I'm sitting here talking to you, we got our live studio audience here as well. And I think about the time, like, it seems like we've all traveled together a lot in the last several months.
We have.
And so I actually thought about both of y'all a lot as I was out on the road solo, and wishing we could all kind of hang out together.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll get to light up a pipe in the beautiful United Kingdom together.
There's a pipe show somewhere in there, I'm sure, right?
Surely.
Maybe we should start one. Country Squire Radio International, baby.
Oh, man. This could get expensive.
It could get really expensive really quick. Hey, one last thing before we officially sign out.
Yeah.
And that is, we had been mentioning on the show the last couple of weeks that next week would be our big Pipe Clubs Around the World episode. I think I'm actually going to postpone that to the next week.
We're going the following week.
Man, being out of town for a week really threw me off on a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And I really want to make
gives
sure
our folks a lot more opportunity to get prepared for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to work more directly with the pipe clubs kind of leading into it, just to make sure that everybody who wants to get in can get in, and we've got all those channels of communication together. So look for more information about that at the top of the show next week. But just heads up, hey, if you're still planning on getting your pipe club together next week and tuning in for the show, you know what? I think you should do it anyway, because I think it's a great way to get people together and have kind of an excuse to have your pipe club together.
We love when people look at us.
We really do.
I really don't. I'll be really honest. I really don't.
Well, one way or the other, we do.
I'm bashful.
We do hope that you'll stay tuned and we'll get that show together for you. I think it's going to be a blast, but I want to make sure we do it up right. So I think a few extra weeks will definitely help there. But man,
dude, I had fun.
Let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in on the old live show here.
Yeah, it was really great to be back with y'all tonight. I've been looking forward to this for several days now, and I don't know. Thanks again for all those that have called and sent me letters and messages and all this about just the future of our little store here. Where it definitely is very heartwarming. So I appreciate all that very much.
Yeah, you tell the folks at the Pipe Tool that we were on time tonight.
Oh no, yeah,
looking at you, Pylorns.
Pylorns, yeah.
Tell Reddit too.
Actually,
we were on time.
Actually, I don't think we were on time, but
we were like by a few. We say ish. We say ish. We would have been on. All right, don't tell the pipelife.com that we were. Oh no! Tell not this pipe life. Don't tell the Pipe Tool.
That's right.
That's what I meant to say.
That's
pipe
right.
Tool. Don't tell the Pipe Tool that we were.
James has some. I mean that. Yeah. Anyway, he's a good friend.
He's a good friend. we love him. He gave us, for those of you who don't know, he gave us a little bit of a playful jab when he did his broadcast, and he was on time. Unlike Country Squire Radio.
Well, we it's fair. I mean, it's very
we
fair.
Love James.
You have to wait for the good stuff, right?
Yeah,
the best steak comes out last.
Y'all be sure to check out the Pipe Tool as well. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Good night, y'all.